Welcome to I Wrote This News. Today is February 4th, 2022. Hey, ho, this is what you need to know. Story number 1, someone else I don't know is pulling out of Spotify. In a New York Times opinion piece, author Roxane Gay announced that she is pulling her podcast from the streaming service. The issue is whether and to what degree Joe Rogan's podcast, the humbly named Joe Rogan Experience, has been involved in spreading dangerous misinformation about the coronavirus. In the meantime, Rogan dropped a video explaining that all he wants to do is have interesting conversations with people who have views that differ from the mainstream. He asserted that the episodes that drew the most attention were those that hosted Dr. Robert Malone and Dr. Peter McCullough. Malone has stated that U.S. public health efforts had led to the creation of, quote, mass formation psychosis reminiscent of what occurred in Nazi Germany. McCullough has made multiple claims, including that the pandemic was planned, that previously infected people have permanent immunity, and that government data show that the vaccines have killed thousands of people. While Rogan framed both of these men as being highly credentialed and respected in their fields, he failed to note that Malone is a physician and biochemist, not an expert on psychosis. Although McCullough has a master's degree in public health, there is no evidence to support his claims. In his video, Rogan agreed with Spotify's decision to include a warning when episodes contain claims about COVID-19, and said he would try to balance out guests with minority views on some topics with those who have more mainstream positions. Story number 2, make mine a double. Bogey. Workers doing renovations on a Scottish golf course made a surprising discovery: a 95-year-old message in a bottle buried in a bunker. The Golf House Club in Ely, which was established in May 1875, said workers were making improvements to the fairway bunkers on the 9th hole recently when they found a bottle buried in one of the hazards. The workers looked inside the bottle and found a message written on the back of an empty cigarette package. The message was dated November 18, 1926. The message reads, "Send more scotch. Oh, and we're out of cigarettes too." Story number 3, stick it to the man. Oh, by the way, it turns out that we're the man. Amazon is raising the price of its annual Prime subscriptions from $119 to $139 per year in the United States. The announcement was made as part of its earnings report Thursday. The company said it is increasing the price because of expanded Prime membership benefits to compensate for the rising costs of labor and transportation in its distribution network, and because founder Jeff Bezos has an unquenchable desire for more money. The news immediately added about $20 billion to Bezos' wallet, which we imagine is made from the tongues of some endangered species. His wealth had already climbed 57% in 2021, largely from Amazon's boom during the pandemic when people were highly dependent on online shopping. In formerly related news, Bezos' ex-wife Mackenzie Scott has given away over $8 billion of her wealth to charity over the past 2 years. She also gave away Bezos' name when they divorced. She is now married to a high school chemistry teacher and has no reported plans for building a super yacht that is too big to leave its own shipyard. February 4th is the 35th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. 330 days remain until the end of the year. This day marks the approximate midpoint of winter in the northern hemisphere and of summer in the southern hemisphere. Remember, everything is upside down in the southern hemisphere. The one thing I never understood about living down there is how you all keep the change from falling up out of your pockets. Now it's time for On This Date in History, Donald Trump edition. On this date in 1789, George Washington is unanimously elected as the first president of the United States by the U.S. Electoral College. Uncharacteristically, Donald Trump didn't contest the results. On this date in 1938, Adolf Hitler appoints himself as head of the Armed Forces High Command. Notably, Donald Trump is silent on the matter. On this date in 1992, a coup d'etat is led by Hugo Chavez against Venezuelan President Carlos Andrés Pérez. Although there is no record of his take on the coup, Trump did implicate Chavez in his 2020 election loss by way of lawyer Sidney Powell. Let's listen in.
The Dominion voting systems, the Smartmatic technology software, and the software that goes in other computerized voting systems here as well, not just Dominion, were created in Venezuela at the direction of Hugo Chavez to make sure he never lost an election after one constitutional referendum came out the way he did not want it to come out.
Powell is currently being sued by Dominion Voting Systems for a lot of money. On this date in 2004, Mark Zuckerberg and Eduardo Saverin founded Facebook, which Trump will accuse 17 years later of destroying the electoral process. Celebrating birthdays today are singer and member of the Fifth Dimension Florence LaRue, former VP and fellow senator that Lloyd Benson definitely could tell apart from Jack Kennedy, Dan Quayle, rocker and one-man chicken nightmare Alice Cooper, country musician Clint Black, presidential offspring and former laptop owner Hunter Biden, boxer Oscar de la Hoya, singer and songwriter whose last name sounds like a gland found in the brain, Natalia Imbruglia, and Isabel Perón of Yep Those Perón, dancer. 41st President of Argentina. She turns 91 years old today. Happy birthday to all of them, and if your birthday is today, a very happy birthday to you as well. By the way, if you or someone you know is having a birthday and would like us to announce it on the show, leave us a voice message or send an email. The links are in the show notes. Today's news was brought to us by the New York Times, The Independent, UPI, CNN, Reuters, and the Mackenzie Scott of websites. Wikipedia. If you have a comment or a question about anything you've heard today, or if you have a suggestion, please send us a note at I wrote this news, all one word, at thatradioshow.com. That email address one more time is I wrote this news, all one word, at thatradioshow.com.
One more thing, if this podcast sounds a little funny, that's because it's also an experiment. All of the vocals were generated using AI technology. Hopefully the show will sound different and better as the tech improves and as we improve at using it. I'm Bob Meese, hoping you have an amazing day. We'll get together again soon.